However, I honked the horn because he was about to leave and drive off. He looked at me and then he turned around and drove off. And then I honked the horn again and he slowed down and I'm like waving out the window like, hey, excuse me. And I even said, excuse me. I guess he thought that I was honking at him to get out the way or something. And he just basically ignored me.
I'm back on my...
Hey YouTube, thank you so much for watching my video today. If you haven't already, this is part 2 of my luxury apartment searching. Please make sure to look at part 1 if you want to. Today we're going to be looking at 2 buildings that I have an appointment for. So right now I'm about to go to the first one. I'm already unfortunately running late or whatever. So about to speed fast over there and I'll get right into it. Hey y'all, so the extra footage I had got deleted, but this is Altier, and personally for me, I just didn't like how we were able to hear the footsteps above us during the tour, and it just wasn't only this building, it was another building, and then also they have a 2-story clubhouse, and you just heard the footsteps as we walked. Also, some of the patchwork that they did in the walls looked rushed and not professional. However, other than that, the amenities were pretty great and the residents were using them during the tour. And yeah, my leasing agent was very nice. I had a good talk with her. But personally for me, $2,100 to $2,200 a month, it was just an absolute no. And then also the size as well wasn't what I was looking for. This is the second property. This is Luma Headwaters. So I'm not gonna lie, this has been on my radar for quite a bit of time, as you can see here throughout the video. It's a really nice looking property. Everything reminded me of my current property and then a little bit of Miami as well. Very tropical. Now, in the beginning of the video, this is actually where I had the issue or interaction with the leasing agent where they ignored me. So I will talk about that a little bit more later on in the debrief. So here's the first floor plan. And as you can see by square footage and all-in pricing, is already beating the previous property. All in both my videos, those are all in with the taxes and fees. So these are not like the base price for the rent. With this specific floor plan, I just felt like it was a downgrade in the living room and bedroom size. But understandably, I'm coming from 1,000 square foot apartments. So of course it's not going to compare that much. I did like that the granite countertops were exactly the same that I have now. So I really did enjoy this property. A quick tip as well, always ask how much it costs to pay rent, because for this property, they only charge a $2 concession fee. For my current property, if you pay through the app, it's $55. I have to go to Walmart in order to pay a $2 fee to pay rent. Here's the second floor plan, which is $892, and this has the wraparound balcony. Now, this is something that I would consider as the room size is comparable to what I have now, and the living room also matches. This looks very nice, and the balcony just added over the top. Hey y'all, so this is actually the halfway point debrief. Basically with the first apartment with Luma, I pretty much enjoyed looking at that property. The original floor plan that I was gonna go for, it had a den, but once I seen how everything else was laid out, I kind of got the hint that it looked smaller in person than online as it would suggest, being that it's for 846 square foot, which you would think is big, but I don't know. I just felt like it felt small just with a den added to it. Then he went ahead and showed me a floor plan that was about 960 square foot, and it had a half wraparound balcony, as you will see in front of me. I'm gonna put some video in front of me. That was pretty good. However, the only problem that I had with that property was that when I first showed up, I accidentally went through the residence back gate. And so when I went around, it's kind of like a maze basically. In order to get to the front office, you have to go back out the gate and then go around to the front office. So I was just basically going around in a circle in the parking lot trying to figure out how the heck do I get to the leasing office or whatever. And I saw the maintenance guy, but then I saw another guy that was in like, because usually maintenance are in polos, and then front leasing agents usually are in professional attire like dress shirts and khakis or something like that. So I did find a guy with khakis and a dress shirt. However, I honked the horn because he was about to leave and drive off. He looked at me and then he turned around and drove off. And then I honked the horn again and he slowed down, and I'm like waving out the window like, hey, excuse me. And I even said, excuse me. I guess he thought that I was honking at him to get out the way or something, and he just basically ignored me. So I was already a little bit rubbed off about that situation. I was just like, why would you just ignore me? I was like, maybe he's maintenance or whatever. Coming to find out, the guy ended up touring me. Then it was like, I was like, oh, well, isn't that interesting or whatever? So, but he ended up, at first, it felt like he kind of, I don't want to say he had an attitude, but I guess he was kind of a little bit off-putting because he realized that it was me that was in that car that he ignored, basically. But halfway through the tour, he started to like, smile, laugh or whatever and everything else. So that was cool. Now we get to Altair, however you say it. Yeah, that is, unfortunately is going to be at the bottom of my list, like with the Mandarin. It's just based on the price, especially the floor plan that I wanted. They were talking about $2,100 or whatever, and for what it's worth, it personally it wasn't worth it to me. Then it was just the cheap floor. It's just like you can just hear every footstep. And then the leasing agent told me that they actually just recently removed carpet from the bedroom. I don't know why the heck you would do that unless you're just trying to cut costs on replacing the carpet on every move out or whatever. But she explained, yeah, they removed the carpet and you can hear it. And it actually made me think about my current apartment right now, where the hardwood floors, it sounds like there's a sound insulation or foam right under the hardwood floor because it has a small cushion when you walk on it. Like you can feel it, but you can't feel it, if you get me. But it's definite when you're at that apartment complex, Altair, you can like feel like the floor below you echoing after every footstep that you take. Even in the hallways, you can just feel the echoing. Even in the clubhouse, when she showed me the second floor, your footsteps are echoing across the whole floor or whatever. And I was just like, no. The price already turned me off, but the fact that you can hear people's footsteps above you, we went into 2 different apartments and I was still able to hear the people above me footsteps just doom, doom, doom. I'm just like, oh no. And it didn't sound like they were doing it on purpose. It was like, they were just regularly walking around. And I was just like, not for that price. Absolutely not. So, and then I looked at the amenities. Everyone were using the amenities. However, certain parts looked a little bit worn down in certain areas. But overall, it was a good property. It was just, personally for me, it was too small. And then on top of that, the footsteps was just a big no. So I do have a third showing, but it's a self-guided tour because for some reason when I was going to do a walk-in, but the front office was closed. And so it was a sign with a QR code stating self-guided tour. So I scanned it And the next available self-guided tour for some reason is at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So I will get back to you guys for that one in the next clip. And that'll be my final wrap up. See you soon. Hey y'all, so I actually did not end up doing the self-guided tour. After doing some deep diving into the reviews, people were complaining about their guest cars getting towed. If you visited the property and only parked your car outside for like 5 or 10 minutes, your car would get towed. And that's just one of the things that I do not like about properties is the assigned parking spots and stuff. And you gotta register your guest tag and stuff. I'm not about to ask my guests anything and all that stuff. Just park your car. So for me, it was an automatic disqualification. If you did like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Also, if you like my vlogs, just go ahead and give me a subscribe while you're here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.